Alrighty, let's move on here. Talking about the Bears again. We just saw Justin Fields' first performance in the preseason, and we loved what we saw, folks. A little bit slow start, but he settled into the game, and as the game progressed, he got better and better and better and better. He scored 3 points right before the end of the first quarter with only 40 seconds left. Great there, navigating that drive. He played hefty snaps, folks. A lot of snaps. He played into the third quarter. Absolutely fantastic. So, here we go. Matt Nagy. Andy Dalton remains Bears quarterback number 1, and Justin Fields needs more reps with the starters. Truly that. So we've just got preseason game number 1 done with here, and Justin Fields played the most snaps by any rookie during Saturday's kind of big games, 8 games on. So let's quickly take a quick look at our bet here. Now that we know it's moving, it's on the move, we have to kind of update this on the daily right after Justin Fields' preseason game number 1. The odds drop from him being the week 1 starter from plus 350 to plus 190, and it is now still plus 190. So until we probably see him take the field again, we probably don't get another drop. But like we said, value, slips just like that. So Jameis Winston to be the week 1 starter is now still minus 185. So, that's been dropping a little bit as well. Mac Jones is still at plus 250. Trey Lance is at plus 250. I don't really see that happening. We weren't really truly impressed what we saw by Trey Lance. He had the best throw of the day, an 80-yard touchdown pass, which was fantastic. But overall, it was just a little meh. I don't know if he's ready to be the week 1 starter just quite yet. But let's go into this article and see what Matt Nagy's saying. Let's see if we get any crumbs that are kind of, hey, Andy Dalton's starter right now, but getting Justin Fields more reps with the starters means that, he's going to potentially be starting. We know he's going to be starting at some point. It's just when, and we really think it's going to be week 1 because Andy Dalton doesn't really provide anything else in that dual threat ability that we saw in preseason game number 1 for Justin Fields. Really just opened up the Bears offense totally, and Matt Nagy, him calling the plays and him kind of thinking himself as kind of a Sean McVay-esque type kind of offensive coordinator, play caller. Having that kind of option of Justin Fields, and it just opens up the playbook. You can do so much more if you have a real solid running quarterback out here. So maybe, this kind of plays a huge part into Matt Nagy. We know it's sink or swim, do or die for him this season, and he's back calling plays. You can call a lot more plays with dual threat ability at the quarterback position. So let's see what we get in this article and see what Matt Nagy is saying now on the quarterback competition here. So here we go. Chicago is buzzing with excitement following Justin Fields' performance in the preseason opener. The rookie looked calm, collected, and displayed the extraordinary element he brings to the offense with his mobility, and we truly saw that. And it was on full display, folks. It was great. Despite calls for Fields to leapfrog Andy Dalton and immediately begin the 2021 season as the Bears starting quarterback, Coach Matt Nagy is sticking to the plan. Dalton will be the week 1 starter. Yes, we know he says that. We don't really believe it whenever he says it. So let's see if he kind of does the backhanded compliment. Yeah, Andy Dalton is a starter for week 1 right now, but, tomorrow things could change. Let's see if we get another kind of one of those quotes. Monday morning, Nagy reiterated his stance that Dalton is QB1 with Fields remaining the backup heading into Saturday's second preseason game versus the Buffalo Bills. Quote, "It is the case. And I think for us to focus on the day by day and just everything that goes into it, focusing on the day by day. Yes, Andy Dalton is the starter right now, but we're going to focus on the day by day, folks. There's 25 more day by days until week 1. So 25 days. That a lot can happen, folks, when they're taking it day by day, day by day. This is why we're so confident in that Justin Fields bet to be the week 1 starter, because Matt Nagy always says this. Yes, Andy Dalton is the starter. He is going to remain the starter, but we are taking everything day by day. 25 days until week 1. So let's continue on here with the quote. And I think for us to focus on the day by day and just everything that goes into it, the only thing that those guys care about right now is just being great at the position. And if you ask all 3 of them, and that's what they're trying to do. And I'll always go back to when we evaluate those guys at that position, we're evaluating the entire package. I think Andy had 6 plays. It's hard to say much good or bad about that with 6 plays. We're going to get him some more snaps this coming preseason game. And with Justin, I go back to what I said too. We want to be able to see live plays, live situations. He got that. The only thing he can do is to continue doing that, and what we have to make sure that plan allows us to evaluate how well he does knowing those circumstances. Ultimately, in the end, whatever is best for the Chicago Bears is in the end what we are going to do, taking it day by day. Ultimately, I know we just said, I mean, folks, in that, just this quote, it was only 6 plays by Andy Dalton. We're going to give him more. He's going to be the starter. We just wanted to see live plays by Justin Fields. But, what's the last quote? But, ultimately, in the end, whatever is best for the Chicago Bears is in the end what we are going to do. Andy Dalton does not result into wins, folks. He does not result into wins. Let's quickly take another look. I know we look at this a couple of times already, but let's once again reiterate what he's been doing here. Throughout his entire career, he had a big old 10-year with the Cincinnati Bengals, like we know, folks, from 2011 all the way to 2019, 9-7, 10-6, 11-5, 10-5-1. 10-3, 6-9-1, 7-9, 5-6, 2-11. I mean, folks, is that anything great? Is that anything fantastic? Never more than 11 wins? And you've been kind of being the main man for year after year after year, never really getting any better? Just mediocre? Mediocrity? Never winning a playoff game? Did he ever win? I don't think he ever won a playoff game. Maybe he won one. He never won a playoff game. This man has never won a playoff game in his prime, folks. Now he's 33. And now you think he's finally going to start stepping up and start winning playoff games? Whatever is best for the Bears is what they are going to do. Well, if you just want to win in the regular season for 10 games, Andy Dalton's your guy. Never getting, deep playoff run. Never being expected to win the championship. If that's what Matt Nagy is aiming for, then yes, go with Andy Dalton. But we know it's a win now mode for Matt Nagy. Andy Dalton's just not the guy. He doesn't have that dual threat ability. Andy Dalton's not using his legs. What has he got for rushing yards in his entire career? He's got 1,300 yards in 10 years, folks. That's 100 yards rushing every year. That's it, 100 yards. That's a scramble play. Getting out of the pocket, that's 10 yards rushing a game, basically, folks. Less than that. Yards per game. 9 yards, 7 yards, 11 yards, 10 yards, 10 yards, 11 yards. Folks, he's rushing for 10 yards a game. A game! That's one. It's a busted play. I'm rolling out. There's nobody over the middle of the field. There's no defender. There's no linebacker in the middle of the field. I'm just going to take off. 10 yards a game, 1 first down by his legs every single game. That's not what Justin Fields does. Justin Fields ran for like 50 yards. What did he do? Can we get that up real quick? I want to see what Justin Fields ran with. It was like 30 to 40 yards, folks. It may even be more than 40 yards. Let's see what we get. Here we go. Justin Fields, where are you at? Justin Fields rushing yards against the Dolphins. Preseason game number 1. We got 33 yards. 33 yards and 1 touchdown. Pretty gosh dang good. Has Andy Dalton ever rushed for 33 yards in a game in his entire career? Ever? I don't think so. Can we quickly take a look? Let's see rookie year. Rushing. Oh, he had a 32-yard. Oh, he had a 48-yard game. All right. Rookie year. Week 15. 48 rushing yards. Didn't rush for a touchdown, though. Unfortunate. So, I mean, folks, it's just, there's no reason to start Andy Dalton is the overall point there. What is the reason? What does Andy Dalton do that Justin Fields does not? Nothing. Nothing. Everything Andy Dalton does, Justin Fields can do. So, That's where we're at. Actually, what did Andy Dalton do in the passing game? He went 2 of 4 for 18 yards. 2 of 4 for 18 yards. Dink and dunk. Not even 20 yards on 2 completions. 50% completion percentage. Classic Andy Dalton. Oh, come on. What else do we get here? We get anything else? We do. We get another couple of quotes here, so let's keep on going here. It's the time of year when NFL coaches adhere to their offseason plan, insisting on not overreacting to one preseason performance. Nagy is sticking to that script. Along with Nagy noting that Dalton will get additional reps this week, the team also wants to see Fields work more with Allen Robinson and their starters. So why, if you're so adamant and truly planning on keeping Andy Dalton as the week 1 starter, why take more first team reps away from Andy Dalton and give them to the backup? Because you know he's going to be playing sooner rather than later. Quote here by Matt Nagy. Quote, I think that's real. He said when asked the value of getting Fields reps with the starters. I think you need to look into that. You need to be able to see, okay, not only so much to see that within the players, because he gets some of that in practice right now, he's getting some of that. But also, it would be good to see what he does versus the first team defense. When you combine both of those together, that's again, kind of the evaluation process. There's zero scheming going on right now in the preseason. Zero. That's a lot. That's not a lot of tape watched. There's plays that are called to see if people can win one-on-ones. Can they or can they not? That's that balance of just trying to figure that out. We want to see the strength of these players when they're playing. So yes, I'd say a little bit of that with his own players and also who he's playing against. So once again, getting a good look against a true first team defense. What can he do? What can he do with his full starters? Having Allen Robinson. We know Allen Robinson is great. He made Mitch Trubisky look good, so I'm sure Justin Fields can be looking great throwing to Allen Robinson as well. All right, one more quote here. Let's read the lead up. Watching Fields, it's understandable the palpable excitement from Bears fans who have long pined for a franchise star under center. The rookie who said after the outing, the NFL game was, I don't know, this doesn't seem right. Whoever wrote this, I don't know. I'm running into, I feel like a lot of like errors, grammatical errors. Kevin Patra, I don't know. Maybe double check this reading sometimes. All right, back to this though. The rookie who said after the outing, the NFL game was actually slower for him than anticipated. Displayed poise and elite arm talent. His athletic ability offers an element of elusiveness in playmaking Nagy's offense lacked. So once again, that dual threat ability, Matt Nagy didn't really have that with Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles, and now still doesn't have it in Andy Dalton. And overall, they don't have the best weapons. I mean, when we look at this Bears offense, they've got some good pieces. Nothing like a Dallas Cowboys or a Rams team. Nothing like that, or a Chiefs team. They've got good pieces, and bringing that dual threat ability just elevates it even more. Allen Robinson, their number 1 wide receiver, but then it's Darnell Mooney and Marquez Goodwin, nothing really good. Damiere Byrd, who's I think is like 5'7", 5'9". So it's like they got Cole Kmet and Jimmy Graham at the tight end position and Jesse James. That's a pretty solid tight end, kind of room right there. But then we get the running backs of David Montgomery and Tyreek Cohen. It's like, once again, nothing else truly that great. Spice up the offense. You can do a lot more. The read option, it just frees up the offense, and it freezes the defense, showing more on offense for the defense to have to kind of cover. Or we got to cover this man, and then we have to cover the read option for Justin Fields, and then we have to, cover the deep ball because Justin Fields can make the deep ball, and then the running game, and then the tight ends. They got kind of 3 good ones, and then once again the running game of Justin Fields. So you're just making that defense even work harder because they've got so much to cover. It's easy for coaches to ignore fan excitement or media calls for young players to play. However, there is a different element when players within the locker room start to question why a rookie is riding the pine. Nagy, who was on the Chiefs staff when Patrick Mahomes sat almost his entire rookie season, insisted that won't be an issue in Chicago, saying, quote, No, because it's expected. You got to play the situation and just understand the excitement is there. I'll go back to we all want him to play really well. That's a good thing, is for him to go out and play well. At the same point in time, we knew going into this that in this situation, anytime there's something that goes wrong for a guy like Andy in this situation, that's going to be there if Justin's playing well. But no, this is something that we've planned for, prepared for, and again, Justin understands all of this, and that's what I love about him. He understands the plan. He understands the process. They all do. We asked him to go out and play well on game day live. So once again, everybody knows the plan. The plan is kind of seeming like Justin Fields will play this season. It's just when. And once again, leaving these quarterbacks out and not playing them until week 4, week 5, that hurts the quarterback overall, because then you're going into games where defenders had 5 weeks to prepare for a live game scenario where Justin Fields didn't have that, and now he has to kind of play catch up while playing on a rookie year. Look at Jalen Hurts. He didn't play the best, because he was started like week 10. It does hurt the offense overall and the team overall, in the player overall. Matt Nagy, do or die season. They must make the playoff this season. They must start winning consistently. They must be showing a lot on offense to move the ball and to score points. And if you play Andy Dalton for the first 4 weeks and it's not going well, and then you make the switch, and now we're at kind of a 2 to 3 game kind of buffer period for Justin Fields. Now we're at week like 8, 9, and nothing's really solid in your 4 and 5, maybe 3 and 6, something like that. And now the media's on you. Now you're trying to kind of win. Now you're trying to push it even more. You're trying to do things a little bit faster pace than what you really wanted to, because you need to win, because you've already got 6 or 5 losses in a 17 game season. So I don't think there's no upside to start Andy Dalton. There's zero upside. So we'll see what Matt Nagy does, but once again, he's still kind of sticking to the same script of, hey, there's a plan in place. Andy Dalton's our starter. We're taking everything day by day, and we'll do what's best for the Bears at that time. So I'm not buying into it. I'm not buying into all this Matt Nagy stuff. Justin Fields will be the week 1 starter. Just go out and bet it, folks. Just go out and bet it. He looked good out there, folks. He looked good, and now he's getting more reps with the ones on offense and going against the starting defense as well. So he's just going to be getting better and better and better. And Andy Dalton getting more snaps in preseason game number 2. Let's see what he does out there, because if Andy Dalton's not going out there and looking magnificent, why not start Justin Fields? If Andy Dalton was going out there, going like 10 for 10 for 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, and looking absolutely fantastic, then yes, maybe you start him. But he doesn't do that. He doesn't do that, folks. Doesn't do that. Justin Fields already had 33 rushing yards in a game. Andy Dalton had 48 his rookie year. That was the most he's ever done in his rookie year. I'm sure that was probably the most he's ever done in his career, but we're not going to go through all 11 seasons of Andy Dalton, even though we could, and we probably should. I won't endure y'all to that. Maybe I'll do that today after the show. But there's no reason to not start Justin Fields, folks. That's the point. What's the point? What is the point? If y'all send me it. Send me your best point that Andy Dalton should be the week 1 starter. Please tell me that, because I'm not seeing it. All right.